It is just past noon on a Saturday, which means it's time for the Saturday RadChat. And I gotta go find something to put this on so you can actually see my face. Ooh, perfect. Perfect. Well, I may need to go get a towel. How is everybody? Nobody here, so I'm talking to myself. I'm good. How are you? The same. Uh, what fun, what fun. Oh, you can hear that squeak. I hope you guys can hear that. Hello. Happy Saturday. Good morning. I gotta go get a towel for this thing so I don't wreck my computer. I'm getting it all wet. I'll go see if my file. Go ahead and see if my file is in here too. The towels never got put in the dryer. Sad. Cushions. No, this is very helpful. There it is. Ooh, gonna want that. I don't know where the cap is. I knew I was gonna do that. I knew I was gonna do that. Coffee and sleeping. All right. So, put some stuff down and come and get some coffee. Okay. I don't know if it's because it's winter or what, but it still feels like early. Even though, it's a towel in the house. Oh, I just want some coffee. You know, sit down and talk to you guys when you get here, or just sit down and talk to myself. I guess I don't. Tra-la-la-la. You get to watch me kind of setting up because I didn't get a chance to sit up because I had to go get coffee creamer. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, that's so much better. You can see the whole dog in the yard. Ha. It was a fire pit. Now it's a whole dog in the yard. And I can't touch the table because then the computer wobbles. So, you can see my view. This is our view from the back patio. Isn't that gorgeous? What up, Philological? How you doing? Happy Saturday. You said you were on the treadmill, huh? That's cool. I love, a good walk. I'm a real proponent of a good walk, and I suppose it doesn't matter where you do it. You're really great. Got me a second date next week. Ooh. That's fantastic. That's exciting. Congrats. Sitting here trying not to listen to the house squeaking. I mean, I want to ask with whom, but I don't want to be nosy. You tell us about it if you want. That's exciting, though. Who is letting out the dog? Who is that? Is that Owen? Owen, is that you? Oh, hey, buddy. What? Okay, with whom then? A trans woman, Madad Grinder, professional musician. Ooh. Be careful. I used to be one and have known many. Be careful.
No, this is a game.
Yeah, he's playing a game.
I see. What? I can barely see.
Yeah, you should go back inside. Oh, drams.
That's better.
Oh, and go back inside. I just wanted to tell you I love you. Mwah.
We're cool.
I don't know. Be gone, kid. I have substance-related news to discuss. Oh. There we go. We're alone again. Yeah. What do I need to watch out for with musicians? Egotism. Disguised as following their muse. Mainly. Never tried it before. Yeah, I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying it's a creative type and it comes with all of the dangers involved in that. And part of what they're going to need in a partner is somebody to help them rein that in. At least there's a really, really good chance. Because you can't indulge in too much. Like, it's like if you want to think of having a foot on both sides of a fence, and you just can't spend too much time on one side or the other, you know. Because if you spend too much time doing mundane, boring shit, the inspiration kind of dies off, right? But then if you spend too much time, nurturing your inspiration, then well, you're gonna neglect your family. Like, you have to have a balance. And I have to have a cup of coffee. Come on, let's go get some coffee. And maybe change into something not black. Let me see the sun. Holy crap, this southern sun. Oh my god. You would not believe. What do I got? Black, brown. Blue is good. Green is good. Okay. My mess here. Grab a drink too. Be right back. Yeah, all right, cool. You can see the wall. That's grand. It's the worst kind of striptease. For a strip, you don't get to see anything at all. Just maybe not black. Would be good. Maybe not black. If you're sitting in the sun on a nice day, Look like an extra from a medieval Monty Python film. Like a Monty Python film set in the Middle Ages. Words. What are they? How do I wear this thing? Oh. Ooh. What up, Critical? How you doing, honey? I'm just changing out of the black thing I was wearing because it's like warm outside. This is your behind the scenes peek. This is where I filmed the video last night. I thought the hairbrush is outside, so Gotta go get a cup of coffee. So hardcore to get a cup of coffee. How's your Saturday going? Tell me about it. Being a goth in summer's worst. Love the background. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice and simple. So I may be repeating that. Because doggone it, I just want some place I can just sit down and do it, you know? Hey, the caramel chocolate creamer is in the bottom of the door. Reading serial killer books, so normal. I've been there. I don't know about, well, I read the first book in the Dexter series. Does that count? But I used to watch a lot of that stuff all the time. But so I guess fiction or nonfiction is the real question. And now we get to talk about books. Oh, I love the book. I'm reading true crime now. The serial killer's first arrest was at 8 for drunk and disorderly. Yeah. Some people are just born like that. It's kind of terrifying because, I mean, if that's true, then we'll never be rid of them. If it's just a natural sort of mutation or a natural variation, and that means there are always going to be some of them out there, which is a scary thought. Like, yeah, it's fascinating. I discovered that it was contributing to my long-term depression, so I had to stop taking that shit into my brain. Well, I'm sorry, but after a while, it had been like 15 or 20 years by that point, and like, once you've seen one husband kills his wife story, you've kind of seen them all. Which is not a serial killer, but you get my point. Oh yeah, I have to take breaks sometimes. Yeah, I think my break at this point has been about a decade long. Because it doesn't take very long, I've noticed. And there's only so much you can learn. There's only so much the average person needs to learn on that topic. And yeah, I don't know. I find that I started seeing it places, because like you say, there are you mentioned described one of the, when they torture animals, that really gets me. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that, like, yeah, the torturing animals is fucked up. The thing that really bothers me is like when they start listing off like the women and so, and she was such and such age. And then there was so and she was 20 this, and then there was so and she was 20 that, and so was 20. So, just on. And I'm just like, I can't. On a later note, though, any update with the squirrels? Ooh, good question. Trying to plunge the coffee with one hand. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Seems like I left it just long enough. They're coming closer each day. Still won't eat out of my hand, though. Will you let us know when that happens? I'm not kidding. That's amazing. Have your boyfriend take pictures. You definitely deserve at least some internet fame for that, right? Ooh, meet the doorway. This is not a coffee ad, I promise. I got a couple cameras so I can watch the asset. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go close the door. Ooh, and grab the Danishes. Like I'm sorry to be eating on camera, but y'all. I can't not eat till 2 o'clock. That's not gonna work. I know because I've done it. It doesn't work. Ooh. There we are. Hello, lovely. This is November. This is late November. How gorgeous is this, huh? Yeah. Traditional gender roles. Am I right? Oh my God. I thought that the contrast between the girl who was talking, she was really smart though. So it wasn't like, thank you. I know, right? Like we have to sit out here. It's like mandatory. Because I'm not bragging. I'm seriously loving this. That's all. Trying to share a little bit of that. Yeah. So she's a young lesbian woman. So she doesn't have a whole lot of personal experience with traditional gender roles. Her parents, I guess, but she made some mention of how like her mom and her stepdad don't really follow them either. But I had to cut that out because focus. And I just thought that the contrast between her and who she was, that's hot stuff, right? And from my perspective, I'm just kind of sitting over here going, "Oh, that's real interesting. I want to get in on that," and I felt like I had some stuff to add. And then there was the other clip of her, much more recent clip. She had the longer hair, talking about how they're never gonna evolve past the kitchen joke. That's because it's not a joke, is it? The kitchen for women is not a joke. Which is why they keep on saying, "Ha, I bet you're gonna want to make my sandwich when there's a draft, right?" Like, you're gonna wish you were able to make dinner now. It's like, well, I bet you are too. Like, I bet you're gonna wish you could cut the lawn now. Like, it's so easy to turn that around. Wouldn't you rather be doing some yard work than off in the trenches or whatever? You can make that joke in both directions. Which, I think that demonstrates that that's a lot of nonsense. It's weird because my parents did traditional gender roles, but they raised us to believe we could do whatever. I love cooking, so I enjoy the kitchen, which is great. And I think you were able to do that because your parents didn't force it upon you. That's great. Everyone needs to eat. See, there's another reason why that's nonsense. And like men cook steak and women bake bread. Like what? And then you have literally some of the most famous like chefs and bakers who ever lived are men. The hell is that shit? And they're not all French either. No, pointlessly gendered things are pointlessly gendered. Okay. Unless we're talking about parenting or reproductive roles. I was about to say on Cake Wars, there's a lot of dudes baking. Like, men can be very good at baking. We all know this. Just like women can be very good at, like, I don't know, fixing cars. What? Pointlessly gendered stuff is pointlessly gendered. It's just so dumb. Outside of, like, the basic sort of reproductive circumstance. Like, what are you doing? Why? Why do we need this? Their wife left in Ireland, a lot of men literally can't cook, especially middle-aged. That's really? Like, even now? Like, guys my age? Really? If their wife left them, they'd be eating slices of bread out of the bag. But surely they'd at least put mayonnaise on it or something. because, you can really fuck your shit up sometimes really easily. I almost want to say laundry's trickier. Like, worst case scenario, you can send that shit out. You don't have to do that. It's expensive. But, like, you can survive, right? Or you can just throw everything in the wash on cold and be done with it. Buy shit that doesn't shrink in the dryer. But laundry's a little trickier than, we say cooking, but you never have to turn on the stove to survive, do you? Oh, yeah, he shrunk my mom's favorite pants, and she won't let him do it anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a similar thing here. I forbid my husband from doing laundry. However, if he were to find himself alone, he would manage, This I'm confident. I'm confident of that. That's, what up, big plans? How you doing? You're late to the party. How's it going in your neck of the woods? IDEK? I don't exactly know. Maybe. In a queer theory module I studied, they showed in a queer theory module I studied. I say that 5 times fast. They showed us this article from a post-divorce man who would literally teach these men how to put frozen food in the oven to cook it. Insane. See, that reminds me of this term that's been going around lately, which is weaponized incompetence. I'm sorry. I don't care if you have never touched a stove before in your life. You can read the instructions on the box, right? Oh, it's called, I'm sorry. It is November, though. This is amazing, right? I'm not bragging. We had to sit out here. It's mandatory. We have to take advantage. Can't just leave this out here all unappreciated. Yeah, so I wouldn't be teaching anyone past the age of like 15 how to do something like that. Because, no, that's what the instructions on the box are for. All else being equal, obviously leaving out anyone who has, mental disabilities or whatever. Oh, you're severely mentally disabled, but you're 20, so I'm not going to teach you it. No, that's not what I'm saying, obviously. Yeah, no, I was thinking that. But then all the women in the class were like, oh, yeah, no, my dad's totally like that. He'd burn the food if he ever, right, and then he would eat burnt food. And he would do that a few nights in a row, and then he would learn. I don't know. I didn't learn to cook until 26. I don't know. I used to make hamburger helper shit for my mom when I was in middle school, like to make dinner for the house, like to, with her instruction, obviously. But like she might be working, so I, as the 13-year-old, would help by making some hamburger helper, which I don't think that's unreasonable, even looking back. Like, I'm not trying to badmouth my mother at all. I don't think that's unreasonable. That by itself. My mom did everything for us. It honestly wasn't good because I didn't learn to cook or clean. Yeah, see. You have to assess, and you got to keep reassessing over time, obviously, because kids grow up. But, excuse me, you have to reassess. You have to assess what is reasonable to expect of a kid, based on like just your own intuition and just a little bit of logic and some gut feeling. We've all met kids. It's not that hard. I'm a good cook. That's a positive byproduct of practically raising yourself. Enjoys it. It's so reminds me of like the difference between and I had my earphones out all this time. My mom's case is because she had OCD and would get stressed if anyone else did it. And I learned to do that stuff at uni. That's funny. I guess I got kind of a nice happy medium there. Weird. Yeah, that's not usually where I find myself. Thanks, Ma, I guess. For once. Credit where credit is due, right? Shit. Because I didn't do any cooking in college when I first went. We had a cafeteria. Oh, that's weird. I was OCD and only trusted my mom's cooking. I thought I'd end up killing myself. It's like these things manifest differently for different people, right? Both of those, I think, are sympathetic positions to hold, but it's like you got to be aware of these things about yourself. Uh, maybe try and compensate for your flaws. Yeah, not you specifically, but just as a general approach to life, that's what I would say. Single parent and working nonstop. My mom had it hard. That's why I never judged her alcohol use, as anyone like her needed a way to escape. Everyone like her needed a way to escape. Well, as long as she didn't torment you, sometimes that's the best you can do. And I hate to say this, but like sometimes life is shit, right? And sometimes maybe you had a kid and your life was going all right, and then by 5 or 10 years later, things are not going so well. These things happen, right? That doesn't sound unreasonable to me. Like something, life has ups and downs across decades, right? And during the 20 years that you're raising somebody, I mean, what are you going to do? Send them off into the country while you, I mean, this is not a movie. You have to actually do these things every day, and sometimes it's hard. She loved box wine. Nice. That's the thing with the whole traditional gender role stuff. It's been so long since the 1940s that these TikTokers forget that most of the women were miserable back then and they coped with wine or drugs. A lot of women were. And I think that they weren't all miserable because of necessarily the social role in which they found themselves. Torment came in waves, just like the making it up to us did. Oh, dear. Sorry. That's rough. Ups and downs. That's what I'm saying. You got to try. You're trying, to keep this stuff from your kids. The ups and downs. You try to shelter them a little bit from just how shitty life can be. Yeah, so many women were on drugs back then, and they'd go crazy, being stuck at home, and end up being in psych wards. Okay. First of all, I don't know about over there, but here in the United States, statistically, like the numbers are ridiculous. A lot of us are on drugs now. To cope with working 3 jobs, I guess. I don't do that, but we have a different living arrangement. I think it's not just necessarily the role itself, but the fact that you didn't have a choice. Okay, always the wonder what if. What might have been. And being haunted by that. Yeah, I'm on a lot of drugs myself. Right. It's not fair to say that they were all on drugs because modern people love our pharmaceuticals just as much. That's not fair. And I think anyone who thinks about it for 5 seconds is going to notice that there's a good chance. 150 years ago, everybody was all about the cocaine. It was the new wonder drug. So the ups and downs of life. Right? Speaking of drugs, caffeine is a drug. Nicotine is a drug. I'm literally sitting here doing drugs on camera right now. Funny. They're both socially acceptable, though, right? Yeah. You see my point, I hope. But yeah, I think it's not necessarily the role itself is disagreeable. It's the being mandatory. Okay, you are a woman, therefore, that is your role. That is what you will do. And we're going to justify it all kinds of ways, and we're going to force you so... Right, yeah, no, I'm getting there. It's over there. I'm just kind of riffing right now. on the traditional gender roles thing because, like, did I mention? I think last week I mentioned that I used to be like a rock and roll chick. You can call me a chick. I don't even give a fuck. Like, seriously, I learned to play the instruments and wrote the songs and like hung out with the band dudes and like went to school for audio tech and like did the whole bit. And I've worked in theater a little bit, you know, backstage and crew in theater. I did not expect to end up a stay-at-home mother of four, technically, or four. Our oldest is out of the house. We only have three here now, but like, this is not how I thought this would go. Exactly. Oddly enough, I feel like classically Abby would have preferred the housewife role anyway, but she gets weirdly defensive about it because she feels like she had no choice in that. Right. Exactly. It's almost as if your feelings about your life do matter. Whether you're actually happy, doing what you're doing or not, you'd be haunted by that what if. And I briefly touched in the video on why I chose to have my first son, but I did choose that. If I had wanted to terminate that pregnancy, I could have. I chose not to, and that one fact has exponential ripple effects in that every moment I was tempted to feel sorry for myself. Oh, the world is against me. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh, no. I did this to myself. I brought this on myself for a reason. And whatever I feel about that, I cannot take it out on him. The little kid is the definition of an innocent bystander in your bullshit. And I said this before too, but I'll say it again because people think this is crazy. Like, babies are not hard. They want like four things. You literally can just go down the list. Are they cold or hot? Are they tired? Are they hungry? Do they need a diaper change? That's literally it. You can just go down the list. And eventually the baby will relax and fall asleep if you take care of those four things. They're not going to argue with you. Then, assuming a healthy baby, a normal, healthy baby, it will just wants one of those four things. And maybe comfort, company. So fine. Sometimes they just want to cuddle because they're sad or whatever. Maybe they had a bad dream because, babies have bad dreams, which is weird. Right? You're like, my God, you're 3 months old. What could you possibly have a nightmare about? The human mind is a mystery. Dude, babies are way easier. My niece is 5 now, and she's so much harder to babysit. Yeah. Oh, my God. 5-year-olds have a personality. They will argue with you. They'll say, my mom doesn't do it like that. They're perfectionists. They can get away from you because they're clever. Ooh, yeah. 5 could be scary. I never knew babes dreamt. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's undeniable because sometimes, which one was it? I think it was the second one. I had my kids almost a decade apart. You'd think I'd be able to remember which the fuck one of them did what as a baby. But like, mom brain is real. You're like in this zone and like trying to remember which one it was you were zoning to. Like, it's hard. It's weird. Anyway, yeah, occasionally he would just kind of wake up randomly. Clearly upset. I think this was the younger one. Clearly upset about something. As an infant, and you're just like, if I didn't know better, I think you had a nightmare. You poor thing. Like, what the fuck can you possibly be having a bad dream about? You've never been anywhere, done anything, had anything happen to you other than a dirty diaper. Like, oh my God, And why? Why about everything? Yeah. Which on one hand I like that she wants to know, but also shut up. Animals have nightmares too. Plausible. Plausible. Like, I think the only prerequisite I would guess for a nightmare is to dream and be capable of feeling fear. And I'd be fascinated to know how low down the animal chain dreams go. I have no idea. My 3-year-old grandson woke up and was shocked that in his dream an old woman pushed him to the ground. He kept saying, I didn't even say anything and she just pushed me. Right, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes the little ones, they don't realize that it didn't really happen at first. Yeah. Mice. Yeah, that's as far down as dreams go. So mammals, basically. You're saying birds don't dream. Is that true? Sorry. What you read in vet school. Oh! I'm so sorry. I'm not asking for money, but I'm gonna my web developer, my friend is gonna be so mad if I don't mention this. Finally, like as soon at least 2 months ago, we got super chats. they're right there. Like birds should dream too. See, are you saying that you suspect they do? I would suspect they do too. Mm-hmm. Octopi, yeah. Oh my god. I just found the missing pack of cigarettes that sent me into a panic this morning. Wow. Wow. The dog stole my fucking cigarettes. I don't know what to say. I said mice because I thought smallest. I mean, like complexity wise, like lizards probably don't dream because they're stupid, but birds have like a kind of a lot going on. It seems like in there, they have a richer inner life, I think, than reptiles. And I say that because of the migratory habits and like the familial system structures that they like, that flocks and stuff. As far as I know, lizards don't do any of that complicated shit. So birds just seem like they have a lot more going on. I hope you're all enjoying watching me eat my breakfast. I'm so sorry. I just do. I have to eat something. Oh my gosh. I'm going to die. That's definitely something I found as I got older. I used to be able to skip meals and have it really not be a problem. I don't know. And these days, easily 25-30% of the time, like if I skip a meal, I'm going to have a bad time. And you don't necessarily know which 30% it is, so you might as well just eat something. Ooh. Yeah, that was at some point. I realized I'm arguing with myself about whether or not I'm going to eat food. That's probably dumb. Anyone watching the boxing tonight in Dublin is loaded with female boxers. It will be incredible. No, I wasn't. But right on. What time does that start? It's like, how far ahead of us is Dublin? 4 hours? 5 hours? Probably something like that. So it's like what? 5, 6 o'clock there, right? What time does that start? Here's a question for y'all British people. How ubiquitous is 24-hour time over there? You know, would you say 1800? Would you say 18 o'clock? Did people say that? For 6 p.m., right, would be 1800. UK time around 7. Main event is usually around 10. Right on, right on. So you got a little while then. We'll be done by then. Not really, we're normal. Well, I've noticed continentally, I see it quite a bit. But I also know that the UK, quite frankly, is culturally a lot closer to us, a lot of that sort of stuff. It's like we share a language and a culture or something. You know. And like 18 o'clock just sounds wrong. But you know, I've known a lot of computer people, and then I married into a military family, so I do hear the 24-hour clock, but you know, they'll say 1800. There's just a little linguistic quirk that's always kind of made me curious. Plus, we get a lot of your guys' media, and vice versa, Like he literally fell asleep listening to Black Books last night. If anyone remembers that show, oh my god. It's one of our familial favorites around here. It's sort of in the regular rotation, you know. Why does it say no one is here? That can't be right. You literally just okay. I don't know. That thing is weird. We get a lot of the visual, like the television and the films. I've noticed we don't really get the music, which is weird. It just, I think, exposes how artificial it is and like how curated it really is. Some of that transfer. My mom just called me because she found a stray dog. I wish I could keep it. Yeah, that's always rough. I saw one on the side of the freeway the other day. I'm like, I cannot stop. I cannot stop. I cannot stop. I have stuff to do. I do not have room in my house for another dog. Oh my god, no. Then he was gone on my way back, and I didn't like see him in the road. So maybe someone else stopped and picked him up. You know, I fully support people being selfless like that, I'm not in a place to do it right now. Just realistically, and I don't think you serve anybody by spreading yourself too thin, then nobody gets enough, do they? I keep treats and a leash in my purse. It seems like they always find me. Yeah, well, some people have that. That's true. I have in the past had that with cats. Actually, I've had more than one cat follow me home. But oddly enough, none of the animals in this house are one that I brought here. I did not bring any of these animals into the house. Not one of them. I've thought about carrying around cat treats. They usually get on with me. Yeah. Like, I can get along with dogs fine. I just don't know them as well. Yeah, that makes sense. Because we never really had them. Growing up, I never really had them until a few years ago when I moved here. Speaking of cats, here comes the spirit of Halloween. Can you see him? He went under the table. Come over here and pester me in a minute. If you build it, they will come. You totally should. I carry cat and dog treats. All the cats find my house. Fur baby, yeah. He's outside. He had his operation, the snip. So he was stuck indoors for a couple of weeks, and he's back outside now. I think he's a black cat with orange eyes. I absolutely would have named him something festive. He came to us in like at the beginning of October, late September or something. Come here. His name is Juniper. Don't get up there and get into my Danishes. I fed you this morning, Mom. My mom named our black cat Blackie. I have met so many Blackies. That is so funny. Like you wouldn't name a brown cat Brownie for some reason, but that is at least a thing. Blackie. Just so you know, my mother, when I was a kid, had a black cat called Macbeth. So that's the level of pet naming that is my basis, for comparison. Yeah, right. She called him Bethy because she married a guy. Like she had this cat when my parents got together, and she married a theater guy. Like that's a coincidence. So she had to call the cat Bethy because he didn't want her to say the name around the house. Like, like he legit has a theater tech degree, so he's not just a pretentious weirdo. He is, but not only. The cat I had growing up was black too. And her name was Sissy. Like short for Cecilia, but I called her that because she was too afraid to jump down off my bed. So not like Cecilia, like not only a pretentious weirdo. Right? You have to have something to back that up. We're using the fire pit as a scratching post. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. All right, I gotta go find this dog's home. Bye, everyone. Oh, okay, bye. Good luck. I will email you, I swear to God. Now Thanksgiving's done. I don't have Christmas to worry about. And then there were 3. Wonder if Mary or Ella are gonna stop by today. Yeah, anyways, so I got this cat because I was helping my friend chase her cat, Blackie. And she thought that this was their cat. And then it turned out their cat had been hiding in the house all along. So I found I'm 5, speaking of 5-year-olds, and I find myself just standing there holding a kitten. What would you do? God, I took it home, obviously. I don't know if that counts as a cat finding me, though, because we had to hunt her down first. And the one that we have here now, his ex brought her over in a cloth purse in the middle of the night one time because that woman is a trip and a half. And then this one, the 17-year-old in a box in the road. So goes the story. I don't know. It doesn't matter because my husband took it out and dumped it in the countryside. After which it found its way to her boyfriend's house. Like while they were sitting there, she's just sitting there at his house, and this cat just walks up out of the woods. So, I guess, and I did not. I'm like, okay, so it's a little black cat. You found another little black cat. No, it's actually the same fucking cat. So at that point, you're like, fuck. We have a cat, another cat. Like, what are you gonna? What do you say after that? I don't know. I'm not sure how to argue with that. It's fate that we have this cat. It's weird. Wind. Does anyone else have a good cat story? I have a couple more. My mom found a Siamese cat in the bushes one time, and she turned out to be pregnant. Had 3 kittens in our living room. It's probably one of the better ones. Unfortunately, anyone who's been a pet owner knows that a lot of them are sad too. Such is life. Actually, that reminds me, you can't really see it behind me, is actually a doggy grave. Because we lost one earlier this year. To cancer, of all the awful, stupid things. Word to the wise, Labradors are prone to cancer. Who the fuck knew that? I didn't know that. May have already told it, but I stayed a few months with this woman whose cats adopted me. She says her cats never taken to a guest as well as me. Yeah. He didn't really suffer, if that helps. We kept him comfortable in his convalescence. Yeah, and then I can say there's a little tree back over my shoulder somewhere. Against the fence, you cannot really see it, but now I want to go over there because I'll lose the Wi-Fi. But yeah, see, and my husband was the superhero there. He's the one who did that. So. That's the kind of thing, you can talk however you want, but what do you do when the rubber meets the road? What happens, The proof is in the pudding. What does that mean? All the ingredients mixed and gelled together? Is that what that means? And like I take after my grandmother, and then I have a head full of axioms, but like I don't necessarily understand them. I just remember them. Which is one of those things, it brings me back to traditional gender roles, which was supposed to be the topic of this conversation, theoretically. Which is that I don't think this comes out of thin air. I don't. Okay, I don't think that they just won't go away because of abusive, misogynistic men. I don't think they're the only ones who are keeping this shit alive. And I don't think that's the reason. They want to claim it. That is what I was getting at with the video. In part, that was a large theme in the video that I was trying to develop. I don't know that I did it especially well, but like that guy who was talking about, you know what? I'll demonstrate to you why you submit because I'll make you submit. It's like, oh, no. And like, we're going to do this on a worldwide scale. We're going to do this on a mass scale. Like, how do you think that's going to go? Do women tend to just roll over as a group and submit? Do we tend to do that either? I feel like we've tried this. That's not how that goes. But even in the most misogynistic, in the most extreme, in the most fundamentalist, oppressive cultural systems, women still find ways to express themselves and to attain authority for themselves in their lives. Because we have that inner drive too. We are also human. Mad, I know. The guys who are I'll make my wife submit tend to have negative riz. Negative what? I'm sorry. I'm 40. Can I use that as an excuse officially? Because I have no idea what that means. Oh, charisma. Yes. Well, it begs the question of why on earth would someone feel the need to treat their domestic partner that way? Picked it up from the Utes because I'm so cool. Well, you misspelled Utes. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not cool. That's like by definition uncool, I think. Just study so long on a thing that you actually get a degree in it? Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know what cool is. I'm just being stupid. But yeah, so not only did some of these things spring from a certain material situation that one may find oneself in as a man or a woman, i.e., having a kid. They also, female psychology exists. What is it? What does it look like? What are the edges of it? What is the shape of it? We don't know any of that. And Sybil touched on why, because traditional gender roles kept women out of psychology. I like between Andrew Tate's views on women and Pearl Davis's views on men. At least Pearl actually thinks highly of men. Oh. Andrew Tate is a bottomless pit of despair, isn't he? Wow. And, I don't know. Pearl Davis reminds me of my mom's family. Like, she could be my cousin in so many ways. Except for the thinking highly of men bit. Maybe, I'm not sure I buy that. Maybe she doesn't know them. She will become bitter and jaded one of these days. But she gets to know a couple of them really well, especially those red pill men. Because they just love to spoil their women, don't they? Ooh, yeah. They just love to worry about your happiness, your fulfillment. I get something to put on this glass. The sun is in my eye. There we go. Pearl is the princess of the pick-me's. That makes it sound like the pick-me's have like a culture and a community, which they don't. That is where I think that stereotype of girls hating girls comes from. The idea that women compete with other women for male attention. So no, there's no community there. Sadly. Speaking of cats, that's like hurting cats. Those women have such intensely and of just virulent strain of internalized misogyny that they're the sort of women who unconsciously have difficulty accepting the leadership of other women, which is frustrating. I don't know if even those red pill men will want to spend much time with her. Well, eventually she will find one. That just tends to be how this works. Hello, doggy. Oh, the dogs chased the cat away. Oh, Ginger! Ginger! Hey! Oh. All right. Jamie's cat? You mean Jamie's cat? Hey! Yeah, he got up the tree. They can't get him there. He got himself. Oh my god, that was really funny. And I had the privilege of watching him shimmy back down this. It had no branches. Like, so, yeah, now there's a little guy or a little girl there. Now we got the dogs. I got the live stream going. It's pointed that way though. I just in case you wanted to go back that way, you'd be on camera is all.
And I got very quiet.
You don't have to pretend you're not there or anything, but like unless you want to be on camera, don't go behind me.
Let you do your thing.
Yeah, we're talking about gender roles. That was the topic of this week's video. And anyway, but we all know that it's funny what you'll find yourself capable of or inclined to do in a situation that you never expected, right? Hello, doggy. Hello. Meet my puppy. Huh? Yeah. You girl. Thanks. Yeah. That's Ginger. Oh dear. I clicked on something. I don't want to do that. I believe they're still on top of the dryer because I have not had a chance to do laundry. Why?
Leave that cat alone.
Like?
Oh no, not a bunch of pillows.
Yeah. They're, I think, wrapped in a towel on top of the dryer because I haven't had a chance to do.
Okay. I mean, we don't need to wash the swim trunks before we go swimming.
No, I guess not. I need to get a suit.
You do. You want to do that when we get back, or you want me to wait for you and we can go do it?
That'd be kind of nice.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
just wait for you a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm an hour in already.
Okay. I'll get a second cup of coffee. Okay, change of plans. Mommy wants to come. Yay!
I took him over there yesterday, and he had a lot of fun. It's kind of a lot. But, tomorrow is supposed to be a quiet day around here. Yeah. And that's the funny thing, like Monday ends up being my quiet day because everyone else is so busy on Monday. I guess that would be sort of one kind of neutral example of how you don't necessarily know all this goes and taken in it. I don't know. I would not have thought that. I still laugh because it seems so weird. Hello. Hello. Saturdays are my quiet day, yeah. I think that's a lot of people's quiet day or Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, you know, the weekend. Weekends are my busy time. Except for this week, because the whole week was busy, you know, because Thanksgiving. Y'all don't do that over there, but Thursday was our big eating holiday here in the United States. Because Critical Kitty went to find a puppy, so I am the only American here. Yeah, Thursday was Thanksgiving. So he made 2 turkeys. So one got eaten and one got put away. It was pretty clean cut and perfect, actually. Then I guess this afternoon we're going to the pool. Although on the topic of weekends, next Saturday is my birthday, so I won't make the stream. Oh, happy birthday! What are you doing? You going out? Gonna be galvanizing, gallivanting. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Around London with family, then my brother is gonna get me blazed out of my mind. Nice, nice, nice. Congrats, congrats. How old are you gonna be? You don't have to tell us. But yeah. Oh, one is curious. You know, you can't help it. 28. Right on. Right on. That's a good age. I want to say, like, that sounds dumb, but I did some productive things when I was 28. Seriously, no joke. Like, internally, anyway. I don't know if it necessarily would look like that from the outside. But I guess it's, you know, that perspective adjustment that happens as you get older, that doesn't stop. I heard your 20s are when you should do a lot of growth. Otherwise, you have personality problems in later decades. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, you're in your best position in a lot of ways, mentally and physically, to do the most exploration. Not necessarily money-wise, but... And I think you just end up having a lot of different experiences regardless, just because of how... I mean, you know, unless you are going to inherit some company from your parents or something, like, you have to, especially these days, you're expected to literally make your own way in the world, right? So, I think everyone tries a few things before you land on something that actually works for you. What's up, little man? Huh? Yes, they're balled up in your towel on top of the dryer because I haven't had time to do laundry. UCA UK Museum has changed the pronouns of Emperor Elagabalus to she, her, as they say he was trans. Apparently he was dead by 18 and a sexual degenerate.
Yeah.
You know that saying, only the good die young? I feel like they should say, like, only the good die young by other hands than their own. Or something. Like, we need to amend that. Because sometimes you die young because you're an ass. I don't remember the story there. I have heard about that. No, I did not hear about a museum changing pronouns. That's your tax dollars at work? That's asinine. I can shut up. Please. Please be quiet. Okay? Shush. Good girl. No, I'm not just going to sit here and pet you all day. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. You know, and I've noticed that they have the tendency to sort of claim weirdos like that. The one who pops to mind is the something Dayon, that French guy who moved to England and dressed like a woman for 20 years or something. And I want to say he was a marquis, but he wasn't. That's not right. You know, he wasn't dead by 18, but he was like one of the biggest liars. He was like, you know, a con artist. Who never claimed to actually be a woman. And never like had a female name that I ever found. And he had to wear women's clothes because I don't remember the exact politics of it, but like by decree of the King of France, if he wanted to come back to France as a Frenchman, he was going to go to prison unless he did it in women's clothes. That was what I had read, so that makes a hell of a lot more sense. I don't know. Am I crazy? That makes sense. That's got a ring of truth to me. Knowing what I know of French history and culture, I don't know. That seems like legit. You know, and then he moved to England, making a bunch of money off stupid limeys. Later on, because like it's clear that he wasn't really getting along with the French establishment, you know. Also, without pronouns for a personal decision. How do they know what the emperor saw himself as she, him, or he, her? Right, the audacity. Yeah, no, it is very audacious to assume that. You're not even supposed to do that with live people who can correct you. This person can't even speak for themselves. And like, this person spoke Latin. Perhaps the ancient Romans had a different understanding of the function of we don't fucking know. That's absurd on so many levels. Yeah. Oh my god. And forgive me for being slow on this front, but Latin is a gendered language, right? So yeah, they probably had a different understanding of the function of pronouns. Like that. Wow. Is this the British Museum? Hey, Mary, what's up? Just finished watching the video. Oh, fantastic. We can get back to talking about traditional gender roles. What did you think? Aside from that phrase being a mouthful. I'm sorry, I'm eating my breakfast. I can't not eat. It's a thing. Right. There's a little bit of gender woo going on with that one, but she's so young. And she's got so much right. And frankly, we were getting into such deep shit, I just kind of let it go. I didn't like that either, but I didn't, follow suit, obviously. I got the impression there's a distinct chance she actually thought that was a girl. So. There it is. There's proof. Burning meat. I don't know. That's supposed to be a classic male skill. You should come up with a fancy word for it. It'll be all the rage soon enough. I ever tell you I was friends with a man who said he was a woman for 8 years? No. That must have been fun. Can't imagine why you're not friends with him anymore. Alfredian? What's that a reference to? Alfred? Did Alfred burn something? God. Which Alfred are we talking about here? He said he was a woman and queer. Oh. And this would have been years ago, right? Like, this shit has been out there on what I suppose must have been the fringes of society for quite some time. I grew up knowing these people. Reference the story of King Alfred burning the cakes. Maybe a little too British for that one. He doubled down. Okay, yeah, no. That is who I was thinking of. I don't know that story. Do tell. I always said he looked like a boy, but he doubled down. I said you look like a boy, and he just throw it back. That's funny, or just dismiss it. Met him in January 2008. That was a month before my first son was born, so I know exactly how long ago that was. Girls. Why don't you go back in the house? Excuse me, I'm going to let the dogs back in the house. Let the poor cat get down from the drain. We'll give the poor cat some hope of getting down from there. Until he admitted on Facebook he was getting bottom surgery. Well, I'm guessing that wasn't what you meant by looked like a boy. I burn all my food. I just kind of hate our electric stove. For years and years, I had a gas stove, Or when you turn it on, it is on. And when you turn it off, it is off. And you can see how high the heat is. Because it is literally there. So, but the real question is, who let the dogs out? And the answer, the true answer that I have for that is so perfect. My mother-in-law. Her face always looked male in the body shape. We were friends. We smoked pot together. Right on. So, it's not like you were dating this man. Thank goodness. it's such a betrayal. Well, yeah. I mean, wait, what do you mean by that? Nah, my boyfriend at the time liked to dress up as a woman for the bedroom. Right. I think that's what I was thinking of. Like, I've known a lot of guys like that too. A lot of guys who just kind of like to wear skirts and shit. Like, and not because they went looking for them. You know, it's sort of weird. It's like they have, you know, like personality clusters. You know, you want to talk about a theory? Like, how is it betrayal? Right, yeah. Betrayal to lie about being a girl and not being one. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, see, I think that's a betrayal of yourself. You're betraying yourself. Like, you're totally not showing up for yourself. You can't even be honest with yourself about what you are. Guys, please don't fight. Come on, let's not do that. Oh, Mary, we were telling cat stories earlier. Do you have any good cat stories? Like, I'm going to change the subject. Yes, just blatantly doing that. Hopefully trying to. He said he was a woman, so I talked about my period. I interact with men and women differently. It's the ultimate. Oh, okay. So you, like, accepted that, is what you're saying. You accepted that as his identity. Only to later realize. I mean, that's a familiar story, right? Actually, I read a book like that once. It was really sort of like an American girl had an Australian pen pal called Hillary, who she took to be a girl like herself, and like wrote over the summer like letter after letter after letter about all her 13-year-old girly stuff, only to go back to school like and not to receive a reply because it's Australia and because this is like the 80s. This is a hill I will die on. Okay, I'm not asking anyone to move from their hill, or die. Frankly, please don't do that. No, but only to discover that this person called Hillary was a boy. And that was like the end of the book, and I was like, oh my god. The books they have you read in middle school, oh my god. It was too. This was like on a list from school, which is the only reason I read this. He lied to my face every time I said you look like a girl. I'm not gonna fight about it. Too busy cleaning up these burned flakes of meat. I don't like it when people lie about shit. Yeah. Like I say, it sounds like that one was lying to himself too. You're entitled to how you feel about it though. And it sounds like this was a while back, so you know. We can probably just let that lie. Right? He's not here. Again, thankfully. Whew. Wherever he is, I'm sure he's having a miserable time of it. Ugh. Unfortunately, you just can't fight. You can only fight with reality so long before you become exhausted by that shit. Let me tell you for nothing. Ha ha ha. Oh man, it's a nice day. Oh. Too nice to fight about shit that happened 15 years ago. Or you said you met him in 2008, but Oh. You believe you burnt the sausages, man. That's funny. That's funny. And I also can't say nothing. It's like, here's what happened to me a couple of days ago, Wednesday, I think it was. Like, all the kids are home all week because Thanksgiving. No one really travels for this holiday so much anymore. It used to be the biggest travel holiday of the year when I was a kid. No one really travels so much anymore. But they get the whole week off of school now. We used to go until Tuesday. So then we'd have Wednesday off, and Thursday's the holiday, and then you have Friday off before the weekend. So it's like a 5-day weekend, I guess. Anyway, but say you would have to crunch and make travel plans on Wednesday because you have school Tuesday. Now we don't have school off all week, but we don't go anywhere. It's great. Yep, kids all week. Anyway, so Wednesday I'm making pancakes. I kept burning the fucking pancakes. Like I literally ended up with a stack of fucking burnt pancakes. I think they're still in the fridge. I'm gonna go and buy some chocolate pudding mix and like make a dessert out of them, I think. But like I literally had to make more batter after my husband left for work and I finally wasn't distracted anymore, so I could make something I could eat. So now I have no room to talk, is what I'm saying at all. Or burning the food. The electric stove and I just don't get along. What? The heat's invisible. And it just kind of glows and like, just because it's not glowing does not mean it's not hot. Oh, no. I really sound old now. I lived in old houses, like, up in Cleveland where all the shit is like 100 years old. It's all gas. I don't know. You come down here in the mountains, and when you know it, they just don't tend to run gas lines. Like, I get it. I don't like it. Okay, we got about half an hour, and like I told them to wait on me to go swimming. So I guess I'm probably going to have to get off here punctually this week and not be a bitch like that. Aw, thanks. It's nice to be included. There's a spider who lives in the tree up there. And there are little wispy webs all over the chairs. And now there's one across my computer. And she's dangling right here like, oh, thanks. It's sweet of you. Sweet of you to include me. Let me move this cup of coffee because I don't want you in there and you don't want to go in there. I don't think I can show you the spider. She is tiny. Big web for such a tiny little one. I'm sorry. I could just sit here and watch the world go by all day, probably. Quite happily. I mean, except no, because I'd end up writing something and, scribbling in my notebook and missing half of it. It's not necessarily much better than a phone in that way, it's you're so hunched over and okay, now you've built a string to my hairbrush, which like that's not gonna work real well for a couple of reasons. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to take that back. Yeah, no, we're not including the hairbrush in the spider web. That's not a good idea. Oh boy. There, she's landed on the towel. Oh. Dear me. I was actually reading about this the other day. I think this counts as a jumping spider. Because they don't actually jump. They like spin a string and go. Like a rock climber. Okay, now we're calling across the table. Good. Yes, go back that way. It's hilarious. Phil, Big Plans was talking about a boxing match. I don't know. I think this is one of those webs actually, like if you're walking and you just kind of mysteriously feel a spider web across your face and you don't see anything and you don't see a web and you don't see a spider and you're like, what was that? Pretty sure this is what that is. I've also heard that that's like some sort of spiritual thing, but like, please go touch grass. Okay, like these are everywhere. It's not a sign. It just means that, there is a spider nearby in a tree and you just happen to walk through. And now you've given her more work to do. No, that's what that is. That's all that is. It's just some of the new age stuff like makes me laugh so hard sometimes like that. Something touched me. Yes, it was a spider web. It's like that's what gives you the feeling of being touched by nature. Okay, I guess, but that is all that is. Oy. Oh yeah, that reminds me of something. Have you seen the Crystal Hugger D-Trans YouTuber? No! What a fascinating combination that is! Can we get a name? Because, I don't know, I think there's maybe something to the crystal thing. They're a material thing that might interact with material reality in ways we don't know about. I'm willing to, at least entertain that idea. But, like, astrology is space racism. Astrology is bullshit. Astrology is somehow transmuted from alchemy in the Middle Ages, or no, from, it is Hermetics fan fiction, right? It's somehow stupider than mainstream trans narratives. Oh dear. The guy who's like, I'm manifesting my chakra astral chi male energy. Oh, wait a minute. I thought you said D-trans. I'm so confused. Because like, if you're going back to what you organically are, why would you need to manifest anything? You already did that by being born. Like what? I guess your mother did that. No, he is D-trans. Okay. That's weird. On the other hand, if you just love shiny rocks and that works for you and that makes you happy, I don't see that as harming anyone. Yeah, find the name. That sounds very interesting. Yeah, the crystal thing, I don't know. I'm willing to entertain some of that, and I see it as harmless overall. Like, astrology is some harmful bullshit. Like, people have shaped their lives around this crap. It related to that is tarot. Because, like, it's all related to astrological symbolism and whatever, and derived from that. Derived, there's the word I was looking for a minute ago. Anyway, it's fan fiction of fan fiction. And, like, that was one of the things I left out of the video is that her girlfriend does tarot, apparently, on Etsy that are scarily accurate. I'm like, how does this... They're, like, prefab. So, like your horoscope in the newspaper, but tarot readings on Etsy? Like, is that... I didn't go check it out, because... Why? Yeah. Nicholas Bloom's Resilient House. Nice. Got my tarot read at my cousin's bridal shower. Oh, it's fun and can be spooky. I'm not like against tarot or anything, but it's not even really important enough to comment on further. Like, it's fan fiction of fan fiction of fan fiction. It's not any more real than anything else. I say this with a great deal of confidence because I was raised by fucking Wiccans who love this shit, okay? I've had so many tarot readings. Like, have all the tarot readings you like, and if it's helpful to you, then great. But the cards themselves are not magical in any way. I got my palm read, but actuate. that the tarot predicted the future. Right. Sadly for him, we don't need soul artists anymore. Chat GG. The chat bot can do it for free. Soul artists. Oh. Oh. You mean he's talking word salad? Is that what you're trying to say? He sounds like a bot. Palm was not accurate. Oh, okay. That the tarot actually predicted something? Neat. Like I say, I'm not going to say that these things are never helpful or never say anything useful. Like, they're not bad. But, you know, they are not something to build your belief system around, I guess is what I'm saying. They're not foundational like that. Cards are not fucking magical. Maybe you got a good reading. Which is like getting struck by lightning. I mean, not to say that it's so rare, but it is accidental, I think. You and another person had a good moment, you know. Because the theory is that they're supposed to read your energy and put it into the cards and then read it back to you. You know, that's why they have you shuffle them and whatever. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe somebody got a good read on you. It does happen. But again, one could argue that that's that person's unconscious doing that, and then you're kind of working in tandem. You know, there's a thing in psychology called folie à deux, which has always fascinated me. Critical Katie, who had to leave, was talking earlier about serial killer documentaries, and like this is one of my, like, when it comes to killers and like maniacs and stuff, it's always more interesting when they work in a pair, isn't it? That's weird, right? When it's like two people who were just kind of bad, found one another and managed to snowball together into Bonnie and Clyde, or shit, whatever the name of the girls were who killed the one girl's mom in Australia, that case that they made a movie about. I don't remember their names. Kate Winslet was in it, I want to say. But like, you know, like this happens. Okay, this is, and that's the most extreme version, I think, of this. But what I'm getting at is, I think that two or more people can kind of build, you know, a bigger energy around an idea than one person can do by themselves. I don't think I'm saying any of this. I don't want to say, you know, do Mott and Bailey here. I think there's a direct connection there. I do. I think one of them is an extremely negative manifestation of this mechanism, this social interaction mechanism. Okay. Folie à deux is crazy. Right, yeah, but folie à deux would be the extreme. A shared psychosis. Ah. And here's where we get into the part where it makes it hard for me to like just sit here and kind of ramble about my own shit, because I'm writing a novel, and in writing that novel, I have wandered into some weird esoteric corners of like thought. Where exactly does psychosis end? Where exactly does the part where, like, I found a fellow who has an amazing term that there's imaginary, right, which like takes you back from reality, and then there's imaginal, which like augments reality and kind of helps you interact with it in a more productive way. Your psychosis ended. That's good. That's good. No, but I mean, in general psychology, they do not have an answer to this question, because they only deal with the most extremely negative cases. Oh, you gotta go? Okay. Bye. Leave me on a limb here. Okay. I'm out of coffee too. We got about 20 minutes, 15, 17, if I want to be precise, theoretically. Minutes left on here. You know, but there's destructive extreme psychosis where you lose touch, you know, with reality. But so like imaginal augmented reality, what this guy was talking about, like kind of like your mind puts, you know, augments your reality. Like it just does. Okay. And I'm not explaining this very well because gosh, it took me a long time to get to. Like, this is why I keep a diary. But like, I was watching something not too long ago about writing mental illness, and they were like, "You should do research," and I'm like, "Yes." What? Were we not assuming that? This person spent far too long explaining why and how you need to do research before you write a character who is mentally ill. It's like, unless you're literally writing from your own personal experience, which is another point that they did cover. It's like, yeah. You should really, 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 really research sensitive topics before you write about them. Duh. If you don't want to research stuff, you should not be a writer of any kind. Nope, not even your own thoughts. Because sometimes you're going to have to research it in that too. Sometimes you're going to have to dig back through your own fucking stuff and go, wait, oh my God, what was that? What was that I had? You know, you cannot escape it. If you don't like doing research, you should not be a writer of any kind. Even people who write straight fiction, deep fiction, still have to do research on stuff. Oh my goodness, some of the most boring research I've done is world building videos, which, you know, I skipped a lot of the world building because my world is essentially Victorian England. Which does involve a lot of research, but guess what? That information is mostly out there. Except, strangely enough, what the upper class were doing. Like, you can find all kinds of stuff about, like, Dickens's London and, like, all kinds of stuff about, like, the lower classes during the Victorian period, which is great that that's all well documented, but it's funny to me. I've been specifically looking for upper class stuff, and unless you're specifically talking about, like, say, Christmas, Victorians invented Christmas, by the way, and, and Christmas, I'm going to end up ranting about this at some point, is not just a Victorian invention, but like possibly the most perfect emblem of how the period that we live in is not a reaction to like the developments and the restrictions of that time, but in a lot of ways a continuation of them. And that we don't see it that way is kind of weird. A lot of it is stuff that might seem plausible under the right conditions. Wait. Yeah, I think a lot of folklore can be explained by imaginal stuff as opposed to imaginary. Right. And this is where you cross over into like theology and like spirituality, essentially. A lot of it is stuff that might be seen as plausible under the right conditions. Right. In the right framework, in the right paradigm, in a certain understanding of the world. And every so often we run across something like that because there was maybe a piece missing in the historical document, right? In the historical record, there was like a piece missing. And sometimes maybe historians or archaeologists will find that piece and they'll put it in there. You sit back and you go, oh, yeah. All of a sudden makes a lot more sense. Okay. Because you had enough of the context to actually, for it to come together. I'd enjoy another vid on some of the esoteric stuff you've been researching. I love the occult stuff, right? Yeah, it's fun. Okay. I mean, I love that I've attracted, you know, a group of people who are actually interested in that stuff. And it's not feminist. Like, history is feminist. Like, politics are feminist. Like, everything is feminist because women are half the population of the planet. And throw a rock and you will hit an example of a woman being oppressed or a group of women being oppressed or being left out, or just the fact that researching anything, you end up with a list of men. The opportunities to make it relevant are endless. Oh, do you know the channel Knowing Better? He does amazing stuff on 1970. Yeah, actually. I believe I subscribe to that channel. I have way too many subscriptions. But like, trying to think what that host is like. Is that one of the animated ones, or is that one of the ones with a dude who sits there and talks to you? Like interspersed with clips and shit. Because I feel like those sort of educational, like pops, informational channels do have like two styles. I enjoy both. I'm just trying to figure out which classification we're under here so I can maybe remember which channel this is because I know that name. I probably have an opinion about it. Oh, I need to go get some coffee. Okay, we got like 10 minutes. Girl. Okay. Okay, and this is, I'm sorry. I know you're a trans woman, and I know that we've had this conversation a bunch of times. I will call you dude, I will call you girl. Like, I just kind of call people things. And I don't really mean a whole lot by it. It is a term of endearment. That's it. That's all I ever mean. But and I'm hard pressed, like in the videos I take pains. When I'm recorded and edited, I take great pains, I do, to try and use the right, well, what I consider to be the correct pronouns for people and be consistent mainly in myself is my main goal. So that I'm not confusing people myself. Okay. You might agree or disagree with me, but at least you're not confused. Right? That's my goal. But here in just in casual conversation, like I might call you honey, I might call you whatever. Like I don't mean anything other than a term of endearment by it. No, he's a dude who sits there. Okay. And like I have one in mind, but I think it's the wrong one. Hang on, this is so stupid. Takes me about 10 minutes to smoke a cigarette. So theoretically, try new AI experiments. No, I'm good on that. Thank you. I'm just going to sit out most of the AI stuff if I can for now. And see how that goes from over here, you know? I'm good where I'm at with that. Knowing better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my husband really likes this channel. Yeah. He does do good stuff. Unfortunately, 100% of my book takes place in not the United States. I am the same. I call folks dude and girl a lot just without things. Right, yeah. So, like, if I call you dude or if I call you girl, if I call you honey, which is gender neutral, right? I found that hun really doesn't offend anybody, at least not coming from me. I'm obviously not a hun, like I'm not a HON, like an MLM lady. I feel that's obvious to everyone, right? So it doesn't have the same cloying, I'm not trying to get anything out of you by calling you a nickname. Just to put this out there for a second time, we do have super chats now. And we are less than 150 away from monetizing, like fully monetizing the channel. Which would be a big deal. So, yeah, we're going to do it this coming year for sure. That's going to be exciting. No, yeah, but as far as research. No, I like that guy. He's got some solid stuff. Most of it's just not relevant to what I do. My headphones are dying. That is unacceptable. That will not stand. We got to go in the house. I'm sorry. I know we got 5 minutes, but we got to go in the house. Watch, all the coffee will be gone, I think, because, well, it's just been one of those days, frankly. Doggy, want to come inside? Okay. Not touching that AI stuff either. Yeah, no, I personally do not see a need for it in my own life at the moment. It does seem to have some interesting applications. Not in my life. Oh, look at my mess. Please don't look at my mess. Drama. Swapping them out. Okay. Do not kill Mrs. Perez. I don't know what's going on, but that sounds like solid advice. Oh, we're almost done on here. But my headphones were dying, and I can't have that. So.
What's that?
We're almost done on here, but my headphones died, and I can't have that. So.
All right. Well, I've got my swimming trunks on.
I see.
Swimming trunks on.
Okay, cool. I gotta get a suit. I don't even know where we're gonna go. I don't. Like men from the north call women love, but not other men. Meanwhile, women call everyone love. Yeah. Depend on the gender of the speaker and addressee. Oh. It's one of those things that I knew, but I hadn't thought about it like that. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. Are women somehow more directly connected with love? That they can love everyone, but men can only love women? What's implied by that? I don't know. There's coffee. Look at that. All right. We're in business. Woo-hoo. Here in the South, we don't use terms of endearment because we don't like each other. Well, I mean, obviously, everybody knows Southerners are a bunch of sour fucks. But that's okay, because y'all have to run the world. Right? That's hard business. We understand. I'll let you get on. Need to do my thesis writing at any rate. Oh, okay. Big plans. Are you still here, or is it just me and philological? You have a great week too. I gotta come out here and pick up my stuff anyway, so I will see you next time. And who knows? Maybe we'll have a nice fun Nicole video this week if I can't find anything else to talk about. Good luck with the thesis. And I guess I will see you later. Bye, guys.